creation of musical theater. So what exactly is theater, and what is the difference between musical theater and regular theater? Well, in musical theater, typically called musicals, we have three styles of what happens, three elements of the show. We have singing, we have dancing, we have acting. Typically, you'll see large chorus members all knowing the words, the lyrics, and the choreography to some random song somehow. That is a basic element of musical theater. And then we have regular stage acting or theater, or also known as regular plays, straight plays. These only have one element to them, and that is acting. Now, you typically won't see dancing in these kind of shows, but you might see music integrated in there somewhere, maybe like a movie soundtrack in the background just to help the awkward pauses in between, things like that. So let's go to 5th century Greece, where it all started, okay? The ancient Greeks staged comedies and tragedies in open air amphitheaters. So if you can see here, they've got that small little stage, right? You can see these tiny little ant beings right there. And then we've got a giant circle of stone steps where people would come and watch. And typically, these steps were always almost filled to see these shows. We typically have tragedies and comedies in Greek theater, and that's pretty much all there was. A play was tragic, or a play was comedic. Tragedies are what I want to focus on. The works of such great playwrights such as Sophocles, Euripides, and Aristophanes formed the foundation upon which all modern theater is based, and that was said by Mark Cartwright, an actor himself. Sophocles. Sophocles is very, very important in ancient theater world because he developed the third actor. And the third actor is something that wasn't ever really considered until we had this guy create his shows. We had one actor who would portray probably a male, one actor who would probably portray a female wearing clay masks to show emotions, and then we would have the chorus. But because of the third actor added, Sophocles got rid of the need for the chorus. That way we could focus on developing more characters and more stories and more plots. He created a play called Oedipus Rex, and today it is still used as an example. According to D. Reynolds, a certified English and history educator, theater had an important role in society in 5th century Athens, which took a moralistic approach. Oedipus Rex is a classic example of a play created to inspire, pity, fear, and to purge society of unwanted emotions. Basically, Sophocles said, hey, you're all idiots. Watch my play, and I'll tell you how you need to be actually acting in this world of ours. The transition from Greek to musical theater. Vaudeville. This was the first instance of musical theater. Basically, it was a giant circus. A type of theater entertainment in the 20s featuring a mixture of specialty acts such as burlesque comedy, singing, dancing, acting. Derek Bonin said that by the 1880s, the Industrial Revolution had changed the once rural face of America. Half the population was in towns and cities, working jobs that left them with both extra money and leisure time. In a world where phonographs, film, radio, TV didn't exist yet, vaudeville shows filled the gap. This is where everyone would go to spend their time instead of to a movie theater like we would nowadays. Alison McLemore wrote in the book Musical Theater and Appreciation, even after the decline of vaudeville in the 1920s, its aesthetic continued to shape American popular culture for decades thanks to radio, film, and television reliance on comedians, singers, and dancers who learned and honed their skills in front of vaudeville audiences. Basically, everyone that was on TV or the radio, they were originally from vaudeville because that's where they learned to do the acting, singing, dancing. Now, Walt Disney Studios. I'm pretty sure we all know what Walt Disney is. I'm hoping we all know what Walt Disney is because it's an empire, right? It's taken over the world. Josh Sharp from the Disney Insider said that in 1994, Disney launched their first Broadway production based on their 1991 hit film, Beauty and the Beast. For the film, composer Alan Menken collaborated with lyricist Tim Rice to write new songs to fit within the story. Then, more than 20 years later, Menken and Rice got together again to write additional songs for the live-action remake. This is a curious phenomenon, but one that has happened at least 3 times already. Original songs are written for animated film, then they're written for a stage version, and then they're scrapped completely, and those new songs are written again for a live action remake, right? It's just something that happens as we cycle through the things. So we have The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and The Lion King, all shows that have been translated into musicals, right? So back to Greek tragedy and comedy, The Little Mermaid is not a tragedy and it's not a comedy. We can see how that we have integrated both of those into one production, one show, one plot. Little Mermaid has elements of tragedy, elements of comedy. Same thing with Aladdin, both of them are there. Same thing with The Lion King, both of them are there. So we have the Lion King musical, right? This is now a musical on Broadway. People can perform it whenever. Songs that we already know, right? I Just Can't Wait to Be King, Hakuna Matata. The songs that we don't know are things like the Grasslands Chant, or He Lives in You, and my personal favorite, Shadowland. This is me performing in my school's musical as Nala in The Lion King. You can see up here, this top right picture is me performing the song Shadowland. Now in the movie, we don't have that song. You probably don't recognize it, don't know what it is. However, in the musical, Shadowland was written for Nala to sing to progress her plot. So she was something other than just a side love character that sometimes shared the song with Simba, right? This gave her a feminist, if you will, story. Because this is her in the song going to save her people by saying, I'll be back. It's gonna be dangerous and I might not return. I'm gonna try, but I'm gonna bring back Simba and he's gonna save us. So, now, would you guys be interested in participating in a musical? Probably not. Theater is something that you typically want to do if you've grown up with it, right? So, while you may not be interested in participating in a musical, seeing a musical or any theater really, or theater production really, is helpful when you want a new twist to a classic story.